This is a very small presentation, which wherein I am touching base upon what are the similarities and what is the background of the PV regulations. Primarily, how the similarities uh, are created and how the similarities help us. So it's all about the perception here in depicted in this graphic here. So someone would say there are 4 bars and the other person would say there are 3 bars. So it's all boils down to the perceptions. So though we call there are differences in the regulations are very much similar. It's all about how we perceive those regulations, the differences in the regulations, and how we try to be compliant to those regulations that each region has. And these are the very few examples basis the speaker list that I have picked up from this presentation. So we are going to focus on these many regulatory agents next 2 hours. The core of all the regulations is what I believe is the CIOMS working group. So this CIOMS working group started somewhere off in late 70s, and then they published their various reports, of which the CIOMS working group 5 and 6 are very relevant. And I would really emphasize that all those who are working in pharmacovigilance should read these guidelines, CIOMS working group 5 and CIOMS working group 6 document that gives a core understanding of how the different regulations are built upon. And each of the agencies have built upon their regulations, keeping in mind this CIOMS working group guidance document. So what do we have in common across all the regulations? So let's start off a journey from where the patient has to report, like what we just heard in the first session. How a patient or a consumer or a pharmacist reports an adverse event or calls up to check upon a medical inquiry or a product quality complaint. So we need to have a medical information call center. So that's mandated across all the regulations. Then what do we do with the information that is collected through the routine sources or the new sources that we are seeing? There is a heavy reliance on social media these days on collecting the safety data. Maintaining patient privacy is another important aspect across all the regulations. So we take care, though it may be called by different names. You have GDPR in Europe, you have HIPAA in North America. So we have different terms for the same activity wherein we adhere to patient privacy and we ensure that the confidential data is not shared across. Then once the safety data is collected, how do we intake it and how do we process it, how we do a quality review, how we do a medical review and apply one of the causality scales. I see we have a presentation after some time on causality assessment. So how all this is being built up in a safety database, and then a reporting is done to the relevant agency. So we have, though we have an expedited and a periodic mandate for reporting of ICSRs, we would see in the coming presentations how the timelines differ for ICSRs and PSURs across the regions. Then how and when do we write an aggregate report called by various names? In Europe, it is called as PBRR. In Canada, it is called as Annual Safety Report. Earlier, they used to call it as Canadian Aggregate Report. In US, we call it as a paid report. So there are different names of the same document. The format also differs, and I think the speakers will have it in their sessions on how the format differs. Signaling. So once we have all the data, safety data, how do we pick up a signal from that safety data? So this is also across most of the regulations. And I say most because US FDA as of today is not mandating signaling activities, but though over the last year and a half, they have been promoting signaling activities through the conferences that they are participating in. At the end, we talk about benefit risk assessment. How do we conduct a benefit risk assessment? And we communicate that benefit risk assessment either through a label management or through a label change or through a structured label or through a pack insert. So these are the core activities that are common across all the regulations. As we see in this slide, patient safety is at the center, is at the core of all the PV activities, irrespective of the company or irrespective of which region the company belongs to or the regulatory agency belongs to. So all the activities have patient in the center, and keeping the safety and well-being of the patient. All the activities like ICSR, periodic reports, signal management, benefit risk assessment, and how do you communicate that outcome of the benefit risk assessment, whether you have an urgent safety restriction, whether you simply document it in the next PSUR or in the next label update. So all these are common across all the regulations. Now, how do similarities help across the PV regulations and the regions? So if you see, I believe that EMA guidelines, the guidelines from the European medicines agencies, have been the most granular. They talk about what needs to be done at each step through their multiple GVP modules that they have published, and they keep updating it very frequently. Most of the regulatory agencies that are now picking up on their PV guidelines are referring to EMA guidelines and mimicking EMA guidelines to a certain extent. So with these similarities, if you see a picture at a 50,000 feet level, we see that these similarities help us in streamlining the processes in our departments. So we have a common set of SOPs, we have a common PV policy, and we address the specific nuances, the differences in the form of an annexure or a region-specific amendment to the policy or to the SOP. So this helps in creating a single SOP for all the PV processes. And moreover, over the last few years, we have seen that they have started something called as a mutual recognition agreement, at least between the two agencies, the US FDA and the EMA, wherein they share the inspection findings, they minimize repeat inspections, whether it is a GVP or a GMP or a GCP inspection. They share this data amongst themselves. And this fact also reinforces the fact that there are similarities across the region and the PV regulations, the respective PV regulations. And as we see in the ensuing slides and presentations, I have just captured this this picture from the webinar's link. So we have speakers across the globe here, as we see, and we will see how the differences are highlighted and how do we overcome the differences. And I think that's it from my end. I won't take much of your time. Thank you.